Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with MajorLeagueTrading.com. It is 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, February 4th, second month of the year. We're all ready to rock 2019, guys. And this is a reminder to follow your rules and trade your plan. Welcome to the Major League Trading Morning Trade Plan. I'm Jack Gleason, and the economic reports here Tuesday. State of the Union, I guess, is finally scheduled. I wasn't sure. I thought that was canceled, but I guess it's finally scheduled. And then Wednesday, Jerome Powell will be speaking. So those are going to be the bigger news events this week. There's nothing before the bell. After the bell at 9:45 a.m., business conditions at 10 a.m., factory orders, and 11:30, the 3-month bill auction and the 6-month bill auction. And other reports, Tom Brady's a legend. Trend bias to the prior day. ES is bullish, NASDAQ is neutral, Dow is bullish, Russell's bullish. Overnight neutral ES, NASDAQ, Dow, and the Russell. On the shorter term time frame, we're bullish in all 4 indexes. And on the midterm time frame, we are bullish in all 4 indexes. The longer term time frame, 20 to 60 days, guys, we are... Am I lagging here? We are neutral, ES, NASDAQ, Dow, and Russell. Moving on to earnings reports. As Perry mentioned, guys, after the bell here today, Google and Google even said, we're probably not going to do a whole lot until that happens. So today, if it's slow off the open, maybe go enjoy your day. Let's take a look here at our previous day's summary for the S&P 500. The bell-to-bell high, 27.16, bell-to-bell low, came in at 26.95 half. Settlement 27.04 quarter. Value area high 27.11 half. Value area low 27.01 half. Point of control 27.04 half. European close 27.09 quarter. Volume was 1,400,000 contracts. Overnight high here, really pretty tight range, 27.09 quarter. Overnight low off the open, 26.98. Been bidden since. Floor trader pivot point support and resistance levels. R4A 27.45 quarter. R3 27.35. Strength. Nasdaq was the weakest, down 0.5%. Russell led, up about a 0.25 percentage point. ES was relatively flat, and Dow was up 0.08%. Over the last 5 days, we had the S&P leading. Over a 10-day period, the Dow is leading. But the Dow actually lagged over the last 5 days. But nothing is like too aggressively standing out. They're really close to each other on both 5 and 10-day periods as far as percentage returns. So let's go ahead and take a look here at some of these markets. I do want to go to oil just because oil is the most aggressive market from the overnight session here, and we just are running through this extension. I'm going to be looking at this same anchor new low here. If it can trade off the open, 54.48 would be at 38% retracement. The anchor is from the low of 55, traded once to target, twice, just hit target, same anchor new low. I have no support till we get back to the full 50% retracement long at 53.35. So I have no support till 53.35, which was, I think, like front run by 2 ticks here on Friday, and there was a really nice bid. Able to get through the 55.70 zone, rolled over here, guys, and I have no support till a retest of that 53.35. So I'm gonna look for potential short sequence here on this extension, and we are down 2% before the open here in oil. So oil is pretty active so far. Moving on to the NASDAQ, we have Google earnings tonight. So that's something we're going to want to be aware of, the extension of the higher time frame, which began on the second. Yeah, I think I am having trouble. I might have to, my main internet connection is down. So sorry. The extension is from 67.01 half to high right now, and I'm looking at the 38% retracement at 68.53 and the 50% retracement at 68.24. I actually believe there is also an anchor from 67.36 that's held here. Yeah, that anchor is held here. 67.36 has had a more accurate bid. So I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch 68.39 and 68.64. Setting alerts there. But that's really gonna move on Google earnings. And as far as levels, just watch these top side of the pullbacks here. Because we've hit these profit targets, it would be totally possible, especially if we have another government shutdown or whatever the news would be, to come back in these higher time frames, same anchor new highs. In extension, there was some buyers on that level, but we are now losing that support. I imagine, well, first off, let's take a look at the prior extension that held the target. I have to go back a 1 year daily chart. The high from 12.46 to high traded through its negative 23% profit target. On the higher time frame, it is possible we retest 12.98.6. If we start breaking below 13.12 here, it's possible that we really have no support till 12.98, which would actually be a whole lot of room to short. This was a really fast run up, and if this 61.8 fails to hold, then you could have a really fast run down. Right now, what I'm going to look at is the low of Friday to low. That extension has traded to target here, and this same anchor new low is what the bears need to hold. Okay, and we've been rejected off that 38% retracement. The bulls need to get back above 13.18. If the bulls cannot get back above 13.18 here today, going into the overnight session, and we continue to fail, we are most likely going to break this higher time frame extension. So this actually could be a really good trade to the downside if we continue to stay below 13.18. If we break back above 13.18, which we could do very well, right at the open, then longs are re-engaged. So that is what you're going to want to watch. Below those levels, look for continuation lower. We break back above, the trend is going to reverse long. But for me, this 13.15.8 is a long extension level. And if we hold above the 61.8, this technically has a higher time frame upside target of, what was it, 15? That'd be 23 points. And gold has been in a really aggressive trend to the long side. You take a look at this daily chart, this is probably today right now is probably one of the bigger pullbacks we've had in gold over the last couple weeks. So very well could be an entry in the long trend or break, but those levels are going to determine it. So I really think gold is really interesting today as far as what happens. Bearish below 13.18, re-engage bulls above. Is within that area, give or take 20 points. It's such a big range, but 27.71 would be the negative 61. Now, if we're going to continue straight up in this long trend, we should hold above the 61.8 of the extension from the 18th. Okay, the high from the 18th to high. and that 61.8 is 26.91 quarter. So bulls holding above that level is significant. On Friday, we bid off that 50% retracement. Okay, we bid off that level. In the overnight session, we bid off the 38.2. This is like, watch what the S&P does. Now, if we break this extension at 26.91, there is a possibility that we come full halfway back, or fully down into the same anchor new high, which would be a pullback into 26.42 quarter. And that would be absolutely possible, and we would still be bullish. That's a big sell-off. Okay, so if we break through 26.91s, you know, that's over 100 points to the downside. Like 150 points. Now, the only thing that would stop that is a possible hold of the halfway back long at 26.6475. So I'm just going to mark that up, and that lines up at the area we broke out of. Okay, so for the continuation here, and really what I expect today is before Google earnings, you know, trading to possible the bottom of the range, the extension 26.95, and then I don't see us getting really above, you know, 27.12 to 27.14, which is that old profit target. I would expect sellers to come in there. The Russell, similar extension. There is the high from Friday the 25th to high. Now there was a halfway back long that traded, completed profit targets last Thursday. Then we held an extension, completed profit targets, same anchor new high. If this extension breaks in the Russell, there is a 50% retracement that exists at 1485 from the swing low of Monday. So right now we are just inside of this extension. The Russell has an unfilled profit target. Just like the Dow, unfilled profit target, Nasdaq filled, ES filled, the Russell extension target is unfilled at 1511, and that is from the pullback of the 23rd. Okay, so that is a resistance level above 1512. Mark it up with an alert. You can see right now we're seeing some consolidation here at highs. I'd like to see a test of the lower end of the range, 1498 to 1496 here in the Russell. Okay, and then last, see gold's getting bid back above that. It looks like it could have possibly been just a flush. And then the Dow, I guess I already went over that. So just to kind of highlight a couple of things here, guys. Gold is at a major support level. If this low ends up being the low of the day, then it could just be a flush from. This is a daily support level in gold at 1315 with a 23 point profit target. So it's a very big level here in gold. And then really these indexes with Google earnings tonight are most likely just going to range back and forth with their extensions. The hourly ATR for a 10 bar average right now is 3.5 points in the S&P. So not really a day I'd be looking for a 10-point profit target. Probably, you know, I always like to say I don't like to stretch for targets more than 2 ATR in the S&P. So that's 7 points. Something to keep in mind here as we move into the day. And then oil is a very aggressive downtrend, and I have no major support, or I am anticipating us to eventually trade the 53.35. But I'm going to try to get my other connection back up, and I'll share my levels with you guys.